Hello, my name is Mima, and I'm a grandma and a mom. And you know what? I love numbers and I love math. I am going to read a book to you called A Dozen Cousins, exploring the number 12, because 12 is the number of a dozen. What is a dozen? Some families have a dozen cousins. Count the number of cousins in this family. So if you were to count all of these cousins, you could count up to 12. Dozen is the word for a number 12. A dozen is made up of 12 things. Here are a dozen eggs. A lot of times, you probably see this around your house. You probably see a dozen eggs in a carton, just like that. And there's 12. If we were to count these, there would be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many of you can count to 12? Should we try it again much slower? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good job. You're doing great. A half of a dozen is 6 things. So this is a half a dozen. It's half of this. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I pointed wrong. Should we do that again? Will you help me out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think I probably still did that wrong, but at any rate, there are 6 eggs in this half of the carton. So a dozen is a whole 12, and a half a dozen is only 6. And when you go to school, or maybe you are already in school, you are going to learn how to write that down, where 6 is half of 12. There's the simple way to do that. You're going to learn that. It's pretty cool. We're going to talk a little bit about how to write some numbers down right now. What equals a dozen? You can make a dozen by adding 2 groups of 6. So if you have 6 little chicks and 6 little chicks, then you have a dozen. You have 12. And the way to write that down on mathematical and numerical terms is 6 plus 6 equals 12. And you will learn that if you have not already learned it. So we have 6 chicks. We already have 6 right here. And then if we add 6 more, we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6 plus 6 equals 12. It's pretty fun, isn't it? It's so fun. And here's another way to do how to add some numbers up to get to 12. If we had some lizards, we can add up 4 lizards, and then 4 more lizards, and then 4 more lizards, and we would get a dozen lizards. We would have 12 lizards right there. So should we count them just to be sure? I mean, I'm sure, but do you want to be sure? And we can count together again because that's fun, okay? You ready? Get ready to say it out loud. Okay, I want to hear you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Did you do that? That's awesome. So here's the way to write that down in numbers. 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. Isn't that great that there's a way to write that down so you don't have to draw a dozen lizards every time you want to talk to somebody about lizards? It's great. You can make a dozen by adding 4 groups of 3. So there's still another way to make a dozen. So if I have 3 frogs, and then my brother gives me 3 more frogs, I have 6. And then if my sister gives me 3 more frogs, I have 9. And then if my cousin gives me 3 more frogs, I have a dozen. That's a dozen frogs. And the way to write that in numbers is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 12. Here's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 frogs is 12. And you can do that with anything. You could have balls, you could have stars, you could have hearts, you could have, what else? Cars? Yeah, you could have monsters. You could have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12 of anything. Math is so fun. I love it. Why is 12 an important number? Long ago, people used the full moon to keep track of time. There are 12 full moons in a year, so 12 became an important number. Look at a calendar. How many months are in one year? Well, this goes back to what we were talking about before. If you have 4 and 4 and 4 3 times, then you have 12. So there are 12 months in a year. Do you know what month your birthday is in? I know Corbin's birthday is in April. Aniston's birthday is in November. Kieran's birthday is in August. And Addie's birthday, she was just born. So her birthday is this month, in July. And Elena's birthday, I think, is in August, right? And Benson's birthday is in May. So I'm sorry I can't remember everybody's birthday. I should have written it down so I have it ready. But I know everybody has a birthday and some month in the year, because there are 12 months in a year. Okay, so you need to learn your birthday when you were born, okay? All right. And another time we will have a book about the names of the months. But should I say them really fast for you right now, just so you can kind of get an idea? Okay, so it starts with January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And December, you know what happens then? Christmas. Everybody loves Christmas, huh? All right, what comes in a dozen? Some things come in a dozen, usually. Sometimes people sell things that come in groups of a dozen. Here's a hint. There's a picture right there. What is that a picture of? That's right. Those are flowers. Those are roses, red roses. Those are a dozen red roses because there are 12 roses right there. Also, have you ever bought a dozen donuts? Here's a dozen. And look, this is kind of like what we talked about before. 4 groups of 3 in each group. So there's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. What are your favorite kinds of donut? What's your favorite kind of donuts? Do you like the chocolate ones? Do you like the plain ones? Oh, I bet you like the ones with sprinkles, huh? So you can buy a dozen donuts. You can also buy a dozen ears of corn. This is corn on the cob. Do you like to eat corn on the cob? Do you eat it funny? Does it get like, sometimes you get the butter on your face? And then you have to wash your hands afterwards? Yep, corn on the cob is fun. When I was little, my sisters and brothers and I, we would eat it all the way across and then come back all the way across and then come back all the way across because it was like a typewriter. A typewriter is something they had in the olden days. Instead of computers, we used to have typewriters to type letters on paper. So we used to eat the corn like it was a typewriter. Someday you'll probably see a typewriter and then you'll remember that Mima used to eat corn like it was a typewriter. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a group of 6 and a group of 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. And 12 is a dozen. That's right. Awesome. You guys are so smart. So what else can you find that comes by the dozen? So we talked about, this is the glossary. These are the words that we've already talked about. We talked about calendar. The calendar has the 12 months on it. We talked about cousins. Remember we had a family picture at the beginning that had 12 cousins. That was a pretty big family. Is your family big? Or do you have a smaller family? There are advantages to both. And groups. A gathering of things or people. We talked of groups of lizards, groups of corn on the cob, groups of frogs. So a dozen is 12. So this book is called A Dozen Cousins, and it's by Marcia S. Freeman. Good job, Marcia. We liked your book. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you can count to 12. And just remember something very important. I love you. Come back again. Bye-bye.